You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name that we have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at least be 1,000 times?
We have released every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can characterize the numbers however you want it.
Reclaiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
it's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
My job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political innuendo so you can go out to the sticks and get your 20-second hit in your fundraising article.
Director,
keep going, reclaiming your time, because the people of California are being underserved by your representation.
If the president is not implicated, why not release everything that involves him?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released.
Okay, so picture this. You're watching live TV, right? Senate hearing, cameras rolling, and suddenly the FBI director, the actual director of the FBI, stands up and basically screams that he's not going down alone. Yeah, that happened. We're talking about Kash Patel here, Trump's handpicked FBI chief, and let me tell you, this story is absolutely wild. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Another Trump scandal? Another hearing? But hold on, because this one's different. This isn't just some random testimony where everyone reads prepared statements and goes home. No. This is Kash Patel, losing it on live television, making insane claims about Jeffrey Epstein, getting into screaming matches with senators from both parties, and essentially threatening to expose everyone if they try to take him down. Like, can you believe this? Here's what actually went down. Patel was called to testify about a bunch of FBI controversies, right? The Charlie Kirk murder case, some botched terror bust in Michigan, the usual stuff. But instead of playing it cool and giving boring political answers, the guy went nuclear. He's up there, deflecting, attacking, pointing fingers at literally everyone. Democrats are grilling him. Republicans who you'd think would have his back, even they're looking uncomfortable. And Patel, he's just doubling down on everything, Doc. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us. Be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. And then, oh man, and then he drops this bombshell about Epstein. Just straight up says it on the record. We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein here, the guy whose whole case has been wrapped in conspiracy theories for years. Patel makes this claim that's so wild, so out there, that the entire internet explodes within minutes. Social media goes crazy. Cable news doesn't know what to do with it. Everyone's just sitting there like, did he really just say that? But here's the thing. Here's what makes this whole situation even more insane. This isn't just some random official making wild claims. This is the FBI director, the person who's supposed to be running the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world. And he's acting like, I don't even know how to describe it, like a cornered animal. Like someone who knows the walls are closing in and he's ready to burn the whole house down rather than go quietly. Now think about the timing here. We're heading into serious election season. The political stakes couldn't be higher. And suddenly the FBI, which is already one of the most controversial agencies in the country, is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. You've got the Trump administration trying to distance themselves from this mess. You've got Democrats smelling blood in the water. And you've got Patel right in the middle, seemingly determined to take as many people down with him as possible.
Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding child pedophiles is disgusting. Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in FBI resources through my redeployment because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco need it.
Director, remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Attorney's file. It's a simple question. Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files? During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed
the question is simple.
Who
Did you
can
tell
be-
the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out if
Yes
you're going
or
to mock
no,
me?
Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No? A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F?
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
So, like, what does this mean? Well, we're about to dive deep into one of the craziest political meltdowns I've seen in years. We're talking about an FBI director who's supposed to be neutral, supposed to be above politics, completely losing his composure on national television. We're talking about connections to Epstein, to Trump, to DOJ scandals, to everything that's been brewing under the surface for months. And the phrase that's echoing everywhere now, I won't go down alone. That's basically what Patel signaled up there. Maybe not those exact words every single time, but the message was crystal clear. If Congress wants to come after him, if the media wants to investigate him, if his own party wants to throw him under the bus, fine. But he's taking names, he's got receipts, and he's more than willing to expose whoever he needs to expose to save himself. This is the kind of story that changes everything. Because once someone at that level starts threatening to spill secrets, once they make it clear they're willing to blow up their own side, all bets are off. You don't know who's safe anymore. You don't know what's going to come out next. And that uncertainty, that's what's driving everyone absolutely insane right now. So buckle up, because what we're about to break down isn't just another political hearing. It's a complete breakdown of trust at the highest levels of government. It's about loyalty, betrayal, scandal, and power. And it all centers around one guy who decided he'd rather go down swinging than go down quietly. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about who Kash Patel actually is. Because if you're just tuning into this story now, you might be wondering how we got here. How did this guy become FBI director in the first place? And why is he having a complete meltdown on live television? Kash Patel is, well, he's Trump's guy. Like completely and totally Trump's guy. Before becoming FBI director, Patel was everywhere in Trump world. He worked on the House Intelligence Committee. He was involved in trying to discredit the Russia investigation. He was a Pentagon official. Basically, if there was a Trump controversy, Patel was probably somewhere nearby, defending the administration and attacking its critics. And look, that's fine. Politicians have loyalists. That's how politics works. But here's the problem. The FBI is supposed to be different. It's supposed to be independent. When you become FBI director, you're supposed to leave your political baggage at the door and just, enforce the law. But Patel never really made that transition. From day one, people were nervous about whether he could actually be impartial. Now fast forward to late October. Patel gets called to testify before Congress. Multiple hearings, actually. Senate, House committees, the whole deal. And the issues are piling up. First, there's the Charlie Kirk murder case. Now, without getting too deep into those details, let's just say the FBI's handling of this case has been a disaster. Information got leaked. The investigation seemed politicized. Lawmakers from both parties are demanding answers. Then you've got this Michigan terror bus situation. Oh man, this one's a mess too. Apparently Patel jumped the gun and announced an arrest before everything was actually ready to go. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, was furious. The DOJ was furious. Even people inside the FBI were like, dude, what are you doing? You can't just announce major busts before they're finalized. That's not how this works. So Patel walks into these hearings already on thin ice, right? He's got scandals swirling around him. His relationship with the DOJ is falling apart. Trump's team is starting to get nervous about the optics. And instead of doing what any normal person would do, which is apologize, promise to do better, maybe throw a few underlings under the bus, Patel does the opposite. He goes on offense. Hard. The testimony starts, and immediately it's chaos. Senators are asking pointed questions about the Charlie Kirk case. Patel's deflecting. He's blaming the media for misreporting. He's blaming previous FBI administrations for setting up bad protocols. He's blaming basically everyone except himself. And you can see the senators getting frustrated because like none of this is answering their actual questions. Democrats are hitting him from one side. They're asking about politicization of the FBI. They're asking whether Trump has been directing investigations. They're asking about independence. And Patel's responses are, well, not great. He's getting defensive. He's getting angry. At one point, he literally tells a Democratic senator to bring it on if they want to keep questioning him. Can you imagine the FBI director talking to a senator like that? But then, and this is where it gets really wild, Republicans start piling on too. Because see, even Trump's allies in Congress are starting to realize that Patel is becoming a liability. The guy's supposed to be helping the administration, but instead, he's creating new scandals every other week. So you've got Republican senators asking him to tone it down, to be more careful, to stop making everything into a public spectacle. And Patel? He's not having it. He starts pushing back against his own party. He makes comments about how he's not going to be anyone's scapegoat. How if people think they can just blame him for everything and move on, they've got another thing coming. The phrase that keeps coming up in his testimony over and over is essentially, I ain't going anywhere. Like it's almost defiant, almost daring Congress to try and remove him. Now here's where the Epstein stuff comes in, because in the middle of all this chaos, someone asked Patel about the Epstein files. For context, the FBI has been sitting on documents related to Jeffrey Epstein's case for years now. There's been tons of pressure to release them. Conspiracy theories everywhere about what might be in those files and who might be implicated. Patel's been asked about this before. Usually he gives some vague answer about ongoing investigations or court orders preventing release. But this time he decides to go off script. And what he says is absolutely bonkers. He makes this claim, this wild, unsubstantiated claim about who was really responsible for Epstein's death. Just says it right there on camera. No hedging, no allegedly, just boom, drops this conspiracy theory like it's established fact. The room goes silent for a second. You can literally watch the senators' faces as they process what they just heard. Some of them look shocked. Some look angry. Some just look confused. And then social media explodes. Within minutes, the clip is everywhere. Twitter's going crazy. Cable news is scrambling to figure out how to cover it. Fact checkers are working overtime. And Patel? He just sits there, seemingly satisfied that he's created this massive distraction from all the other questions he doesn't want to answer. But think about what this means strategically. Patel just threw a grenade into his own hearing. He took a session that was supposed to be about FBI mismanagement and turned it into a referendum on Epstein conspiracy theories. Now, instead of talking about the Michigan terror bus or the Charlie Kirk case, everyone's talking about Epstein. The news cycle completely shifts, and that's either the work of a strategic genius or someone who's completely lost control. Honestly, I'm not sure which. What's becoming clear though, and this is the really scary part, is that Patel seems willing to say or do anything to protect himself. He's making wild claims. He's attacking his critics on both sides. He's deflecting responsibility at every turn. And that I won't go down alone energy is coming through loud and clear. He's signaling to everyone, lawmakers, media, maybe even people in the Trump administration, that if they try to make him the fall guy, he's got plenty of ammunition to fire back. Think about what he potentially knows. As FBI director, he's got access to everything. Every investigation, every file, every piece of dirt on every politician in Washington, and now he's basically threatening to use that information if people come after him too hard. That's insane. That's not how any of this is supposed to work. The Attorney General's situation makes it even worse. Pam Bondi is supposed to be his boss, technically. She's the head of the DOJ, and she's clearly fed up with Patel's antics. The reports about their relationship are brutal. Apparently they've had screaming matches. She's complained to Trump about him. There's talk that she wants him gone. But Patel's not budging. He's dug in, and he's making it clear that if Bondi wants him out, it's going to get ugly. So now you've got this incredible situation where the FBI director is at war with the Attorney General, while also fighting with Congress, while also making wild claims about one of the most sensitive cases in recent history. The whole thing is a complete mess, and nobody seems to know how to clean it up because Patel's made himself into this kind of political suicide bomber. Like, sure, you can take me out, but I'm taking a bunch of you with me. And here's something else that's really concerning. The way Patel's handling all this is setting a dangerous precedent, because if an FBI director can act this way and survive, if they can make wild accusations and threaten everyone and still keep their job, what message does that send? It basically says that accountability doesn't matter anymore, that you can be as reckless and political as you want, as long as you have the right connections. Okay, so let's actually break down what this all means, because beyond the drama and the shouting and the wild Epstein claims, there's some really serious stuff happening here, and it's going to have major consequences moving forward. First, let's talk about what this does to the FBI's credibility. And look, I know the FBI hasn't exactly been popular lately anyway. Trust in federal agencies is pretty low across the board. But this is next level damage. You've got the director of the FBI acting like a political operative rather than a law enforcement official. He's making conspiracy claims on national television. He's getting into public feuds with his own Department of Justice. He's threatening lawmakers. How is anyone supposed to trust FBI investigations now? Like, let's say the FBI announces some major case tomorrow. Immediately people are going to ask, is this legitimate law enforcement, or is this Kash Patel pursuing some political vendetta? That doubt, that uncertainty, it poisons everything the agency does, and it's going to take years to rebuild that trust. if it can even be rebuilt at all. Think about the rank and file FBI agents too. The people who actually do the work every single day. They're watching their boss embarrass the entire organization on live television. They're seeing him turn the FBI into a political football. How is that affecting morale? How many good agents are thinking about leaving because they don't want to be associated with this mess? The damage here goes way deeper than just one bad hearing. Second point, and this is huge. What does this mean for Trump? Because remember, Patel is Trump's guy. Trump personally chose him for this position. Trump defended him when people questioned the appointment. And now Patel's out there creating scandal after scandal. That reflects directly on Trump's judgment. It raises questions about who he surrounds himself with and whether he can actually manage his own administration. But here's the twist. Trump might actually not mind some of this chaos. Stay with me here. One of Trump's favorite tactics has always been to create so much controversy that nothing sticks. If there are 10 scandals happening at once, people can't focus on any single one long enough for it to really damage him. So maybe, just maybe, having Patel out there acting wild and drawing attention serves Trump's purposes, keeps everyone distracted and confused. Or, and this is equally possible, Trump's team is freaking out behind the scenes trying to figure out how to contain this disaster before it spins even further out of control. Reports suggest there's tension between Patel and the White House. Nobody seems totally sure whether Trump still backs him or whether Patel's on his own now. And that ambiguity, that's probably intentional. Gives Trump plausible deniability if things get worse. There's also the question of what Trump actually knew about Patel's plans going into these hearings. Did Patel tell anyone he was going to make these wild Epstein claims? Or did he just go rogue? Because if Trump's team knew this was coming and let it happen anyway, that's one thing. But if Patel blindsided everyone, that suggests he's operating completely independently now. And that's terrifying for an FBI director. Third thing, let's talk about the Epstein angle specifically, because Patel bringing that up wasn't random. Epstein conspiracy theories have been circulating forever. They're popular on social media. They get people riled up. And by injecting that into his testimony, Patel basically gave his supporters something to rally around. Now, instead of defending his FBI management, they can pivot to, oh, well, he's being targeted because he knows too much about Epstein. He's trying to expose the truth, and the establishment wants him silenced. It's actually kind of brilliant in a twisted way. Take the heat off your actual failures by creating this narrative that you're a truth teller being persecuted. Get your base fired up about protecting you because you're threatening powerful people. Suddenly, you're not the corrupt official, you're the brave whistleblower. Never mind that you're literally the head of the FBI and probably the most powerful law enforcement official in the country. Details, right? But the problem with that strategy, and this is important, is that once you start making claims like that, you better be able to back them up. If Patel's just throwing out conspiracy theories with no evidence that's eventually going to catch up with him, his credibility will be completely shot. And all those supporters who rallied to defend him, they're going to feel betrayed when nothing actually comes of his dramatic claims. And you know what else is interesting? The Epstein files themselves. Patel previously claimed that court orders were preventing him from releasing them. So if that's true, why is he now making public statements about what's supposedly in those files? Isn't that violating the same restrictions he claimed existed? Or was he lying about the court orders? Either way, it doesn't look good. Now let's look at the political timeline here. We're in election season territory. Midterms are approaching. Every seat matters. And suddenly the FBI is dominating headlines for all the wrong reasons. Democrats are using this as ammunition. They're pointing to Patel as proof that Trump has corrupted federal law enforcement, that he's put loyalists in charge who care more about politics than justice. That's a powerful campaign message. Republicans, meanwhile, are in a tough spot. Do they defend Patel and risk being associated with his chaos? Or do they distance themselves and risk angering Trump's base? Some are trying to thread the needle, acknowledging problems while still supporting law enforcement generally. But that's a hard line to walk when the FBI director is out there acting like this. And independent voters, moderates, people who aren't locked into either party. What do they make of all this? Probably nothing good. This whole spectacle reinforces every negative stereotype about Washington being broken and corrupt. It makes both parties look bad, and it increases cynicism about whether government can actually function properly. You've also got to think about what this means for ongoing investigations. The FBI is working on hundreds of cases right now. Some of them are incredibly sensitive. National security stuff, terrorism, corruption, and now there's this cloud of uncertainty hanging over everything. Defense attorneys are probably already planning to use Patel's behavior to challenge FBI evidence in court. They'll argue that investigations were politically motivated or improperly handled. The Attorney General situation is particularly interesting going forward. Pam Bondi clearly wants Patel gone, but firing the FBI director is complicated. there are processes, there are political costs. And if Patel really does have dirt on people, if he really is willing to burn everything down, that makes removing him extremely dangerous. So you might see this weird stalemate where everyone knows he needs to go, but nobody wants to pull the trigger. What's probably happening behind the scenes right now is intense negotiations. Maybe they're trying to find some face-saving exit for Patel, some way he can resign without it looking like he was forced out. Maybe they're offering him something, another position, a pardon for whatever he might be worried about. Who knows? But the longer this drags on, the more damage it does to everyone involved. Here's what to watch for in coming weeks. First, does Patel actually release anything to back up his claims? Or was this all bluster? If he doesn't produce evidence soon, his support is going to start crumbling. Second, how does Trump respond publicly? Does he stick with Patel or start creating distance? Trump's Twitter feed or Truth Social or whatever he's using these days is going to be very telling. Third, do more details leak about what's really going on inside the FBI and DOJ? Because you know there are people on the inside who are fed up and looking to share their version of events. Anonymous sources are probably already talking to reporters. We're likely to see some big investigative pieces drop soon that shed more light on just how dysfunctional things have become. Fourth, watch Congress. Are there going to be more hearings, formal investigations, calls for Patel's removal? The political pressure is only going to intensify. And with elections coming up, both parties have reasons to keep this story alive. And finally, the biggest question, does Patel survive this? Can he actually hold on to his position despite everything? My guess, and this is just speculation, is that he's done, maybe not immediately, but soon. The pressure's too intense. The scandals are too numerous. Even Trump can't shield him forever. But if and when Patel goes down, that's when things could get really interesting. Because remember that whole I won't go down alone vibe? If he decides to actually follow through on that threat, if he starts exposing secrets and settling scores on his way out the door, we haven't seen anything yet. This could just be the opening act. Imagine what could happen if Patel decides to write a tell-all book, or go on a media tour, or start leaking classified information. The guy has access to some of the most sensitive secrets in the government. If he feels betrayed and wants revenge, he could do serious damage. And that threat, that possibility, is probably why a lot of people are very nervous right now. Look, at the end of the day, this story matters because it shows how broken things have become. You've got the FBI director, someone who's supposed to be above politics, acting like a reality TV character, making wild claims, starting feuds, threatening people. And somehow, this has become normal enough that we're not even that shocked anymore. That's the real scandal here. Not just what Patel did, but the fact that we've reached a point where this kind of behavior from top officials doesn't immediately end careers. We've normalized chaos. We've accepted corruption. And until that changes, we're going to keep seeing more stories just like this one. The institutions that are supposed to protect us, that are supposed to enforce the law fairly and without bias, they're crumbling right in front of our eyes. And it's happening so gradually with so much other noise and distraction that most people aren't even noticing. But this Patel situation is pulling back the curtain. It's showing everyone just how bad things have gotten. So yeah, Kash Patel won't go down alone. He's made that very clear. The question now is, who's going with him? And how much damage will they all do on the way down? How many careers will end? How many secrets will come out? How much worse can this actually get? And maybe the scariest part, this might not even be the bottom. We might look back at this moment in 6 months and think, wow, remember when we thought that was bad? Because the trajectory here is not pointing upward. Things seem to be getting worse, not better, and nobody with real power seems willing or able to stop it. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. In fact, I bet everything that the craziest parts are still to come.